Let me give you an honest picture of what it's really like to live in Modi'in as an Anglo immigrant, and why this planned city has become the default choice for English-speaking families moving to Israel. Modi'in is Israel's purpose-built immigrant city. Founded in 1993, it's one of Israel's newest cities with a current population of around 100,000. Unlike Jerusalem with its 3 millennia of history, or Tel Aviv's century of organic growth, Modi'in was designed from scratch as a modern, planned community, strategically located between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Think of it as Israel's version of Columbia, Maryland, or Irvine, California, a master-planned city with wide boulevards, ample parking, green spaces, modern infrastructure, and rational urban design. Here's Modi'in's defining characteristic. It has the highest concentration of Anglos of any Israeli city, estimated at 20 to 30% of the population, with some neighborhoods reaching 40 to 50%. This isn't just a significant minority. In many areas, Anglos are the majority or near majority. The city was marketed heavily to North American immigrants. Nefesh B'Nefesh partnerships brought organized Aliyah groups. Schools were designed with Anglo integration in mind, and network effects meant Anglos moved where other Anglos already were. Key Anglo neighborhoods include Buchman and Scheinfeld, the original Modi'in areas where the first wave of immigrants settled in the late 1990s and early 2000s, with Anglo population 25 to 35%. Park Anabe and Park Hamasila are central neighborhoods with excellent parks and schools, where Anglo population reaches 30 to 40%. These are family-central areas with playgrounds everywhere and very active community life. Moriah, the hillside neighborhood with some of Modi'in's nicest properties, attracts more affluent families. Unlike Jerusalem's concentrated Anglo bubble in specific blocks of Baca, Modi'in's Anglos are distributed throughout the city while still maintaining high overall concentration. Modi'in occupies the middle tier of Israeli housing costs, significantly more expensive than Netanya or peripheral cities, but more affordable than Herzliya, Tel Aviv, or central Jerusalem. A 3-bedroom apartment costs 3 to 4.5 million shekels. That's $850,000 to $1.3 million. A 4-bedroom runs 4 to 5.5 million shekels. This is 30 to 40% more expensive than Netanya, 20 to 30% less expensive than Herzliya or central Tel Aviv, and similar to or slightly less than Baca in Jerusalem. Modi'in's location is its greatest practical advantage and also its defining limitation. The city sits roughly equidistant from Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, about 30 kilometers from each. The commute to Tel Aviv by car takes 30 to 40 minutes in normal traffic, 50 to 70 minutes in rush hour, or by train from Modi'in Center Station, it's 30 to 35 minutes to Tel Aviv Center, making the total door-to-door commute typically 60 to 90 minutes. The commute to Jerusalem by car is also 30 to 40 minutes normal traffic, 50 to 70 minutes rush hour. Modi'in is marketed as offering convenient access to both cities, but the truth is, you're commuting 60 to 90 minutes each way to either one. That's 2 to 3 hours daily. Many Modi'in residents have negotiated 2 to 3 days in office rather than 5 days, or one spouse works remotely while the other commutes. The COVID era normalized this arrangement, making Modi'in more viable. Modi'in has growing local employment, but nothing like Tel Aviv or even Jerusalem. There's a small high-tech sector, retail and service jobs, education and healthcare, but most professional jobs require commuting. This is where Modi'in truly distinguishes itself. Schools were designed from the beginning with immigrant integration in mind. Most elementary schools have 15 to 40% Anglo students, creating natural peer support while ensuring Hebrew immersion. Popular schools include Atid, Arazim, Rimon, and Nitzanim. The system works well because Anglo kids aren't isolated, but aren't in a ghetto either. They must learn Hebrew to function with the majority. Many schools have special Olim programs and extra Hebrew support. Middle schools like Eshkol are very popular with Anglo families, maintaining 20 to 35% Anglo population. For high school, Megan Shaw Religious Boys School is very popular with 25 to 35% Anglo students. Amit Girls School for Religious Girls has 20 to 30% Anglo, and there are various secular options. Modian schools are good, solid, competent, well-resourced, but they're not elite. They don't have the reputation of Jerusalem's Pelesh or Tel Aviv's top schools. They're more comparable to good American suburban public schools. They do the job well and send kids to universities, but aren't prestigious. For most families, this is perfectly adequate. The schools provide Hebrew Olim classes for new immigrants, English-speaking counselors who understand cultural adjustment, parent communities that welcome newcomers, and staff who speak English and understand Anglo culture. This infrastructure makes Modian uniquely immigrant-friendly. Modian is predominantly secular to traditional, about 60% secular or traditional, 30% religious Zionist or modern Orthodox, 10% Haredi. The Anglo community specifically skews more religious than the general population, perhaps 40 to 50% modern Orthodox, 40% traditional, 10% secular. Most businesses operate on Shabbat in commercial areas. Public transportation runs on Shabbat, but many residential neighborhoods have strong Shabbat observance. There are multiple synagogues across religious spectrum and kosher restaurants widely available. Modian offers a middle path, more religious infrastructure than Tel Aviv or Herzliya, but more pluralistic and less intense than Jerusalem. Modian feels more American than almost any Israeli city. Wide streets with actual parking, strip malls with large parking lots, chain stores, big box retailers, drive-through coffee shops. It's suburban America transplanted to Israel. This is either comforting or disappointing, depending on what you wanted from Aliyah. Mornings see parents dropping kids at school and commuters heading to train stations. Afternoons are family-focused, kids at playgrounds, parents at cafes. Evenings are quieter than Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, some restaurants and cafes, but Modian isn't a nightlife city. Weekends are park-focused with families picnicking and children playing, and many families drive to beaches or hiking in nearby areas. This is where Modian truly excels. The support system for English-speaking immigrants is unmatched in Israel. Nefesh B'Nefesh runs extensive programming. AACI Modian chapter is very active with events and lectures. There are English-speaking professionals everywhere. Doctors, dentists, lawyers, accountants serving the Anglo community. Social infrastructure includes massive Shabbat hospitality, where newcomers are routinely invited for meals, mom groups and play groups, sports leagues with Anglo participation, book clubs and running clubs, and WhatsApp groups for every neighborhood, school, and interest. Modian has formalized systems to help new immigrants, veteran families matched with newcomers as mentors, school integration coordinators, government bureaucracy help, job search networking. This level of support is simply unavailable in most Israeli cities and dramatically eases the difficult first year of adjustment. Here's the critical tension. Modian makes it extraordinarily easy to live in an Anglo bubble. You can socialize primarily with other Anglos, send kids to schools with high Anglo populations, shop at stores where staff speak English, see English-speaking doctors, attend English-speaking synagogues, and function largely in English despite living in Israel. Some people live in Modian for 5 to 10 years without achieving real Hebrew fluency or deep integration into Israeli culture. The debate is whether the bubble provides crucial support or prevents true integration. Each family must decide where they stand. Most professionals in Modian commute to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, which is manageable but requires consideration. Hybrid work revolution made Modian significantly more viable. Many families have arrangements like working from home 2 to 3 days per week and in office 2 to 3 days per week. Without hybrid work, Modian's commute would be far more challenging. Local employment exists but is limited, and salaries for local jobs are typically 10 to 20% lower than Tel Aviv or Jerusalem equivalents. A monthly budget for a family of 4 runs 25,000 to 39,000 shekels. That's $7,100 to $11,100, which is middle tier for Israel, more expensive than Netanya, less than Herzliya, similar to central Jerusalem. Required household income is 30,000 to 35,000 shekels monthly gross minimum, with better lifestyle requiring 45,000 to 60,000 shekels monthly gross. Modi'in is exceptionally family-friendly with very low crime, kids playing freely, good schools with immigrant support, sports leagues and activities, safe environment, and large Anglo kid community for peer support. Children typically integrate faster than parents, even in schools with 30 to 40% Anglo students, becoming fully Israeli with fluent Hebrew and Israeli identity while maintaining English. Modi'in works ideally for families with children seeking immigrant support, Anglos wanting strong English-speaking community, those working in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem willing to commute, remote workers or hybrid arrangements, middle to upper middle class professionals, people valuing suburban comfort over urban excitement, those seeking balance between Israeli life and familiar American-style infrastructure, and families prioritizing safety, parks, and child-friendly environment. Modi'in is Israel's mainstream Anglo-immigrant city. It's where English-speaking families go when they want a comfortable, supportive, family-friendly environment, without extreme religious intensity, without urban chaos, without isolation from other Anglos, and with access to both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. It's not exciting and won't give you that feeling of, I can't believe I live in Israel that Jerusalem's old city views or Tel Aviv's beach culture provide. It's suburban, planned, somewhat sterile, and remarkably similar to American suburbs. But it works. For thousands of Anglo families, Modi'in delivers exactly what they need. Good schools with immigrant support, dense Anglo community to ease adjustment, safe environment for children, modern infrastructure, reasonable housing costs, and strategic location. The trade-offs are clear. You get community support, immigrant-friendly infrastructure, safety, and suburban comfort. But you give up urban culture, authentic Israeli experience, walkability, beach access, and exciting lifestyle. For families with young children making Aliyah, especially from North America, Modi'in is often the default choice because it minimizes adjustment stress.